Hey there, I want to cover three particular controls in this video. These are controls that are in the NetAdvantage Windows Forms toolbox for quite a while, and I just want to make sure that you're all aware of them. They're really great to use, they're very powerful, and they also allow you to organize controls in many different ways. And they're basically called, I just call them the box controls because they have the word box in them. We have a picture box, we have a group box, and we also have an expandable group box. So let's cover each of them. First one I want to talk about, let's just take a look at the picture box. So let's look for the Ultra Picture Box in the NetAdvantage toolbox here, and here it is. So this is basically an Infragistics version of the picture control that allows you to navigate and navigate to pictures on your hard drive or load them up dynamically, and it allows you to display pictures. Now let's say if I locate the image property in the Visual Studio property window and select an image that I want to display. And the thing that makes this different than the one that comes within Visual Studio is that it has an appearance object attached to it. So again, you get the different types of image drawing modes, like you could stretch it, you could cut it off and do all that, like the scale image. So this is all the different types of stuff, like I could scale it right there or never. But let's take a look at what happens when you use the appearance object. So here you expand the appearance object, and then you have the famous Infragistics appearance object attached to this control. So let's say if I do back color 1 is like a gray, let's make it something where you can see it more, like a dark color, and then back color 2, let's make it like this right here. Now that I've selected two different types of colors, now I need to set up a back gradient style, like which one of these gradient patterns should we apply. So let's say if I do something like this one here, you'll notice that the gradient is applied, or I could choose this other gradients here. So there's variations on how these two colors get morphed from gradients. So we could do something like that as well. So again, that's the purpose of having to choose the Infragistics one over the inbox one, is the ability to use the appearance object. So then you could also set a shadow on here. So let's say you want to do shadow depth. Let's do something crazy so you can see it. And then shadow color, let's do like that. You could set up that on there. Then let's see the other thing that you can do, draw border shadow, that must be true as well. So you see that back there? It's kind of hard to see because of the gradient colors that I chose, but that's basically what you get. So if I do something like red, you can see it a little bit better. But again, you have a lot of flexibility. You could kind of tweak this and show your image in a really nice and presentable way. So that takes care of the Win Picture Box, or as it's called in the Visual Studio Toolbox, the component name of it is Ultra Picture Box. So I'm going to delete that off the screen, and let's go for the Win Group Box. And let's go find it in here. It's called the Ultra Group Box. And here it is. And you've seen this type of control before. The Visual Studio Toolbox has a similar one. But again, why use the Infragistics one? Well, it has the appearance object attached to it. And it also has a very powerful feature that allows you to select the view style. So by the way, the group box and the expandable group box are container controls. Think of them as panels that have a border and stylability around them. We also have a regular panel control as well, but we have ones with borders and an expandable one. So first thing you could change here is the text property. Let's say do something like this. Customer info, then you want to put other controls in there. So you want to put like labels, editors, or any other control that you like. Just like this, I drag and drop stuff in there, and then it's part of that container. I can move it around and organize my UI. So I want to show you the other properties that you could set, like the view style. I could do like Visual Studio 2005, and it looks like that. If I go through some of these others, like 2007 is cool looking, so take a look at that one. Say Office 2000, these are all nice, so let's just leave it in this one right now. So if I do that, and the header position, very interesting. Look at all these options that we have. So if I do that, it's left outside border, so it's right there. So you can really configure this just with a bunch of property settings and the enumerations that we give you. So bottom down there. So again, we have every combination that you could think of. So top on border. So that's what makes this powerful. So now if I were to take this guy and delete it off the screen, let me put some other controls on here because I want to show you something else that we can do. So let's say if I drag and drop customers entity, this is like, I'm just using the Infragistics WinGrid because I just want to show you another type of UI that you can come up with using our expandable GroupBox. So let's take our grid here. We have one grid, and let's grab another grid that's related to the customers and orders. So we'll do that. We'll just keep it at 2 grids for now to make it easy. I just want to set these up as very flat, just plain old flat grids. Alright, so let's get them off to the side for a second. Now the next control I want to show you is the Expandable GroupBox. It's called the Ultra Expandable GroupBox. So let's find it here. Here it is. We'll put one on the screen and let's dock it to top so we can see it. So I want to show you the type of UI we can create. Dock to top. And let's take the grid and dump it in there. And now we're going to set the grid's dock to fill. So it's docked within the expandable GroupBox. The expandable GroupBox expands and collapses just like this. Really cool looking. Let me actually drag this grid down here. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to drag another one and we'll put it on here, and I'm going to drop the other grid in there as well. Let's dock that grid to fill so it fills up that GroupBox, and I'm going to dock the expandable GroupBox to fill so it takes up the whole area that's left over. So dock it to fill and it all works. So if I pull that grid down, and now let's just click on this expandable GroupBox 1 and set the text property on that to orders, or let's say customers. We do that and we click on this GroupBox and orders will be the text for that one. And then again we could click on this. Let's see what properties we have here. We have the view style. Again, we have it like Visual Studio 2005, Office 2007. Let's mix and match so you could get to see a couple of styles in action. In your app, I recommend you have one specific setting for all of them, and you could set these in App Stylist, which is global across everything. So let's see, Visual Studio 2005. Let's set this guy's header position on, let's see, on the side over here. So let's just have some fun mixing and matching just to show you what it looks like. Because I want to make sure you guys learn how this all works. So let's save it and let's run it. So we run the application. Here's my form. Let's just expand this all. So now I'm looking at my customers here. If I click on the various orders, I kind of reversed everything. So whoops, I reversed the grids, but it doesn't matter. The point of this is to show you the panels and how you could arrange the UI. So let's say if I wanted to collapse this guy, I just collapse customers, and now this one becomes maximized. I could also collapse this guy here and expand it. But because of the way it's collapsing and expanding sideways, it's not really going upward, it's going sideways. So that's the behavior if you set it up that way. Let's click on that panel again. Let's select it. And let's set the header position as default, so it's upwards. So now it's expanded again. So that's the behavior. Let's set it to another style. Let's go to, oops, click on this guy here and set its view style to, let's say, Office 2003 and run it. So here it is again, maximized. So if I could collapse this guy here, notice how it now collapses against the top. So depending where you put the header, it collapses into the header. So again, you could stack a bunch of these guys together and start off with them all collapsed. Like I want to see the orders, I could just kind of flip through them. This actually should have been the orders grid, but I already flipped it around. And these are actual orders here, but it should have been customers. But again, if you ever wanted to come up with this type of user interface where you have a bunch of controls within panels and you could collapse them and get them out of the way, the Expandable GroupBox is the one you're looking for. Alright, now that you know about these 3 little gems of controls that I showed you, try to go through your apps and find out where it would be best to use these, and I'm sure you can make best use of them now that you see how they work and how easy it is to just update and refresh your app with these guys.
Infragistics. on the web at infragistics.com.